Hello and welcome to Capacity TV. My name is Saf Malik, reporter at Capacity Media. We're here live at Messaging and SMS World, and I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Ahmed Abdi Omer, Senior Director for Cloud Communications at E& Enterprise. Ahmed, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
On to the first question. How do you perceive the competitiveness in the UAE when it comes to CPaaS? And off the back of that, could telcos compete with CPaaS global OTC players? If so, then how?
So let's start with the market first. I believe that the market has been driven by a layer of aggregators who have been there culturally engaged with the business and the enterprises for quite some time. And they've actually, some of them, been into the race of communication platform as a service. Some of them started from the A2P messaging world, evolved gradually into the OmniChannel engagement solutions, all the way to the communication platform as a service. The race is with different players. Some of them are a bit advanced on stage. Some of them are still in the early stages of the journey. But I believe that the market has been evolved dramatically, and especially post pandemic. And it's actually been by the demand of the consumers, by the demand of the enterprises, to have a contactless engagement between them. Now, and I think this race will continue, and I believe today that there is a good room of innovation and creativity when it comes to finding their own ways to provide innovative commercial models to the enterprises. Now, when it comes to the telcos, they have, of course, a very unique position. They have the infrastructure, they have the connectivity, they have the base, they have the customers, they have the creativity and the innovation hub of technology, and I believe that they could play a major role, not only to play within the actual domain of the CPaaS, but also enrich the whole ecosystems to come up with a richer value to the enterprises and consumer. Now, the variable that we see is the OTT players who actually comes from abroad, and this is a very difficult equation. Less restrictions for them, the governance models, regulations and compliancy. All of these elements plays a major role in defining who could really do better in the market. And we believe today, due to this compliancy, regulations, being closer to the consumer base and the market, and especially the culture, the telcos have a bigger competitive advantage when it comes to that side.
Talk to me a little bit about E&'s Enterprise's CPaaS journey and your vision moving forward.
Well, it's a small building block in the whole ecosystem of innovation and creation and creativity within the E& group. So maybe I should go a little bit back into the evolution of the telco brand of what's known to be formally as Etisalat, the telco giant in more than 16, 17 countries. This has been evolved recently into a technological conglomerate that actually hosts big ecosystems of different technologies and solutions. And the way that we've segmented ourselves is one towards the audience or to the market or the target segment. And the first pillars that we have today is the telco business that we have in the different countries. It started from Etisalat, the main pillar in the UAE market, but of course going to KSA, Egypt, Pakistan, and Africa. And then there's another pillar where it's actually been targeting the consumer base, and this is where we call it E and Life. And that's where it's meant to target consumers with their life needs when it comes to generosity, fintechs, entertainments, and etc. The third pillar, which is E and Enterprise, and this is where the CPaaS business home is meant to be for all the B2B business and all the enterprise and government and small medium businesses, and it's also covering a very good spectrums within the region. And then last but not least is the E and Capital, which is the part of business that looks at the venture capital. So when you look at E& Enterprise, the objective is really to be specialized in this domain, play in the league of CPaaS player, and this is where EngageX, a homegrown brand that's been known recently in the last couple of years in the CPaaS domain, being named as a major player in the marketscape of 2023 CPaaS market worldwide. And we believe today that we've tried to position ourselves into this market of CPaaS with the other, not only regional, but also the international player. And in this sense, I believe that the collaborations really played a major role. because we really didn't compete with the OTT players. We actually complemented each other when we came to the market. So we built into the knowledge and the know-how that they built over time. We start from where they end, and we've tried to create a value chain that goes all the way into something called customer experience.
And then you have a partnership with Comviva. How is that partnership helping you stay competitive in the market?
So this is, again, one of the pillars that we have today in our value propositions when it comes to the partner ecosystem that we've created. Comviva was a very major player in the early stages of our journey when we started to build a real true multi-channel engagement solution to our customers. And we've seen a massive growth that has happened, especially on the pandemic time, but it also pushed us to really be more creative and innovative. And this is where we started to build all the use cases underlay of the Comviva multi-channel platforms. The partnership didn't come only on the platform level, but they've been also hand in hand with all the variables and the changes that has happened to the market when it comes to fraud, security, enhancing the customer capabilities, and pushing our ambition and the boundaries of what enterprises usually had in their own infrastructure. So everything is in the cloud, everything is well scalable, everything is well maintained and operated in a high scalable and reliable setup to our enterprise customer.
And moving forward, talk to me a little bit about Ian's Enterprise's technology vision and how is Comviva supporting those plans?
So the way that we take this whole value chain is we believe today that the telcos or the businesses driven by the telcos have a very good competitive advantage in three items. One is the reliability and the compliancy to the regulations, the cultural connection to the market. Second, their customer-oriented approach, because they are being the trusted brand by those consumers and enterprises for a very long time. And last but not least, catching up with this innovation and technology and this fast piece of changes that happen, telcos has always been in the front line, or the technology conglomerate has always been in the front of these things. And we believe with these three combinations, we are at the right time with the right solutions that we have today. Comviva was always with us in the journey, and we believe today that going forward into the value chain, the setup that we have today in the OmniChannels has been evolved vertically and horizontally. And when we say vertically, we are going all the way in the value chain to become the trusted customer experience provider for our enterprise customers. And horizontally, we are actually moving into other markets within the regions, including KSA, Egypt, and Pakistan as well, and they are hand in hand with us as a partner.
Looking forward, you've had a lot of growth in the CPaaS space. So what advice would you give to telcos looking to replicate that success that you've had in this area?
Well, I believe the three pillars are still valid. I think what we've learned over time that you shouldn't go through the whole journey of learning today. One of the things that you always can leverage on is to understand where others have actually reached. We've been into a very painful process of trials and errors until we reach into this stable and robust states. I believe there is a good room of innovations when it comes to all of the new stuff that we are going to hear here about conversational AI, generative AI, the OmniChannel, RCS, the engagements through the full customer journey from awareness, promotional, all the way to customer support. My humble view today is to start from top down. One of the things that we've learned over time, when this communication has been meant to be for consumer, you always need to understand who is your target audience. How does your landscape of your consumer looks like? And you should start backward from who is your demographical distribution of your consumer or your businesses in the markets that you operate in. And then you start slowly from top down, building your actual value chain in a reverse engineering. And this is where you will understand today that there is a huge margin into the upper layer of the value chain, and slowly leveraging on what technologies or what practices, best practices has actually been implemented before. Rather than going bottom up and learn from top down, bottom up is actually to come from top down, and there is a good room of creativity and innovation, I would assume.
Ahmed, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate the time.
Thank you so much for having me. All the best.
And thank you for watching Capacity TV.